Good afternoon, students. We will start with the second lecture for cybersecurity today. The lecture is on data privacy and data regulation. I welcome Saurabh Bubare sir once again today for delivering the lecture. Sir, welcome once again on behalf of Babasaheb Darware College, and I hand the mic over to you. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So again, it's almost almost it's 3:10. So no, without wasting time, no, we shall start discussing about the data privacy and the data regulation. As I already told you in the yesterday's class as well, that when we talk about the security laws, that security laws are no more concerned towards the three aspects: the cyber laws, the Information Technology Act, which includes the cybercrime and cyber laws. Then we have the intellectual property rights, IPR, and the third is the most important thing, that is the data privacy, specifically when we talk about the data regulations. We have to check what do you mean by data, then we have to see that what do you mean by privacy, and then we have to analyze the whole situation in accordance with the demands that are there in the society regarding the protection. We also have to check what happened with an Indian context. Do we have such kind of data privacy laws, or what is currently going on in regard with the Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook versus the central government? Okay, so all that we have to discuss in today's class. When we talk about the data privacy, we have to have different kind of aspects that needs to be discussed. Data privacy, big data, personal data. Then we have various statutes on the privacy. We have to see the cookies and the regulations. We have to check out Google, how it works, and what are the what we can say as a positive and negative aspects of it when it comes to the data protection. Then the privacy issues regarding the mobile apps, because you can see when you try to download any particular app or try to access any particular app, probably you will get the notification that that particular app want to have access to your contact details and the rest of the information which is there in your mobile. So what happens with the privacy policies in that concern? Then we consider EU data protection directives and the safe harbor as the most important regulations in the world of data privacy. Okay, and so accordingly the rest of the apps which are there in EU, rest of the websites, they have to follow that particular directives given by the European Union. Then at last we have to check it out, the data privacies in connection with the India. Okay, so what is data, or what is a personal data, or what is big data? Now when we talk about the data, we know data is nothing but it is facts or statistics collected together for a reference or an analysis. Okay, so for example, consider if you try to make a search of any particular thing on the website, then probably maybe your location, maybe your information, the information related to the product, so all that can be collected together for the reference or for the analysis. Okay, so a byproduct of the technology, or we can say computerization or a mobile world, is the is this particular thing. Okay, so electronic media acts as an warehouse for the information. So data is information, and that is nothing but a knowledge regarding that particular person. So it is an abstract concept in connection with an philosophical aspects. Okay, as yesterday we have discussed about the Information Technology Act 2000, it also gives a definition of the data. It defines that as the information in a formalized manner, processed to be processed, stored, accessed through a computer system or a network. Okay, so all kind of information which is associated with either processed or unprocessed. Okay, when it is stored, and when one have the access to that information, we call it as in data. Okay, so computer system or network also covers all the medium, like printouts, it covers the CDs, tapes, storage devices, pen drives, hard disks. So almost every technological equipment, or we can say computer related or network related devices are covered as a part and parcel of this particular process. Okay, Now, when it comes to the personal data, now personal data, it shall mean any information relating to the identified or identifiable natural person. Okay. So it's a data subject. Okay, now what is this personal data or the data subject? For example, no n number of information is there available on the internet. Okay, so it is basically that taking the help of the data, probably one can identify a person directly or indirectly. So by an identification number, for example, say address, credit card, a bank statement. No, generally, if you no, if you are taking a statement, mini statement, or anything that as in part of your ATM transaction, no, you will get you usually get a printed a receipt. Okay, and no, most of the people you have seen that instead of just throwing it into the dustbin, they no, they tear it, they no, they convert it into the minute pieces, and then they probably throw it in their house dustbin instead of the dustbin which are there at the ATM. Okay, so why this is so basically to protect the personal data, because see, if I come to know that you are having this and this account number, so it has been easy to get the information, or no, to make a fraud with your personal data if I come to know the personal data. Okay, so if there is a leakage of the personal data, then what are the no, it is considered to be the crime, and that we have already studied yesterday. Okay, but when it comes to the protection of the data, we also have to take into consideration no, all these particular perspectives. We can also have one or more factors specific to his physical, psychological, mental, or economic culture, or the social identity. Okay, now I'll just give an example in this concern, that no, you probably have heard that okay, I mean, I don't know whether this is right or wrong, but I mean, I have read it somewhere that Kim Jong, okay, as a person you know very well. Okay, so of the North Korea. Okay, so the ruler of the North Korea. Okay, so he usually take his toilet tub along with him. Okay, I heard that. I mean, I don't know, you can check it out on the Google. Now, why this thing? I mean, this is not that we usually do. Okay, so we don't no, we don't do such kind of things. But there must be some kind of reason behind such kind of activities. And what would be the reason? The reason is that probably no, by analyzing the stool of that particular person, no, we can say rivalry party may come across with the analysis and come to know that what kind of diseases that this particular ruler is having, and probably they can take the bad advantage or disadvantage of that particular knowledge of that particular data to and against that particular ruler. Okay, and so there are higher chances of having it, and so probably that's why it is said that he used to take his toilet tub along with him. Okay, I mean, though it may be the fictional or may not be the fictional, but still, no, we have to correlate that how no, we discrete the data in lot of things, no, in lot of social media, no, on various platforms, we do those do that particular thing, and so that's why no. There are higher chances of getting that particular data been misused by some other company. Okay, and so that's why we must have this data protection. Okay, and that the personal data also includes the healthcare records of a medical condition. Okay, so in law we had X versus Y hospital case where no, that a person was suffering through a kind of a disease where no, he is supposed to, the doctor no, is not supposed to disclose that particular disease to in the society. So to have the dignity of that particular X person, but that Y hospital he did that disclosed the information, and a lot of things that happen with the X person, because you know that when you have such kind of things in the society and it gets easily viral, and how people behave. I mean, we have seen how people behave when you got corona positive. Okay, and so the same thing that happened when such kind of diseases that happen to any particular person. Okay, and so it's total miserable condition that can happen in living in such kind of society. And so that's why healthcare records or a medical condition is the most important thing that shall have the protection. We have the criminal investigation and the criminal proceedings as well. Okay, you know that there are higher chances when it comes to the crime that no, most of the criminal cases where the criminals usually try to delete the things which will cause a connection or which will create a connection to their crime. Okay, and so probably if the police officers they come across with such kind of things, then there are higher chances of getting convicted for that particular crime. And so that's why generally such kind of criminal investigation is to be kept by the police officers very securely. Okay, and accordingly they have to carry out the investigation as well. So it happens with the financial institutions and the transactions as well. Okay, uh, suppose for example, if you've received a phone call saying that you are after analysis of your bank account will come to conclusion that you need a loan. Okay, and so you have to find it out. So it means that some information been leaked regarding your bank accounts with the another entity. Okay, this is dangerous when it comes to the financial transactions and the data protection. Even the biological traits like genetic material, even the residence and the geographical records, ethnicity of that particular person. So all that comes as a part of the personal data. Okay, so basically at this instance, just remember that what do we mean by exactly the personal data. Then there is a term called as big data. Okay, so basically use all the advances in the computing in order to make a sense out of that particular information. Okay, so how you can take that particular data and turn into action, or how you take that data and run a better business. So all this that we have, okay, so we could measure to much more than even we could by analyzing that particular data. Okay, and so the principles of big data is the volume which goes to the TBs, and the quantity gets higher. Velocity is also the real time and high speed. Variety is no fixed form and different type and the nature. No, veracity is the quantity of the data, or we can say as an output. Okay, for example, for LinkedIn uses the big data technology, okay, to recommend 1,000 billion personalized recommendations per week. So you can even go through the LinkedIn, and you can check that how the big data that they no, this is kind of an no huge data that they try to analyze, so that no, if you have used the LinkedIn site, then you probably come to know that according to your experience and your education, you get a lot of job options. Why it is so? Because probably there's a big data that they have analyzed regarding who are the people who recruit the people, other people, in what areas they recruit, and the rest of the things. Okay, and so this big data is so much important, and it offers companies a lot of things. Okay, why? Because this is a huge data, and the data is no, it's depending upon different kind of aspects that we'll discuss. Okay, so what does this big data offer the companies? The very first thing is that it identifies the customer, okay, who matter the most. So it's kind of a pattern. Okay, so consider, for example, if I went to say DMart, and I have taken some products. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Suppose 6 products I have taken. Okay, so they have asked me the mobile number. Okay, so I have given them the mobile number. So no, after analysis of all the DMart customers, they'll probably come to know that what type of customers are demanding what type of products, or which geographical location needs one particular product in maximum. okay, in abundance, or in what locality, in what particular location that one particular product, say product number 8, is least required by the products, least demanded by the people who come to that particular DMart. Okay, so when it happens, don't then probably it has been easy to to analyze that what things shall be provided to which part of the location, okay, of the city. And so probably this is how the identifying of the customer, which is also an important, the most important part when it comes to the companies and the industries. Okay, and so this is one of the things that helps in the form of big data. Then psychodemographic profiles of the user. Okay, so basically deals with the psychology of the individuals. Okay, so for example, say if the pandemic is going on, then which area is having the maximum number of the positive people, and accordingly the supplies shall be done by the manufacturing companies. Okay, or probably the risk management factor. Okay, so no, you can easily come to one particular analysis of the data where they say that okay, if these profiles, they are no, they are ready to take the risk when it comes to the investment, but these profiles that they are not much or they are hesitant to take the risk when it comes to the investment. Okay, or like for example mutual fund we can consider in the banking sector. Okay, so this helps them to sell out their policies or to sell the different kind of information and to earn profit out of it. Then we have the advertising strategies for the customers. Okay, so acquisition and retention. So basically you can see that accordingly no the advertising strategy has been made depending upon what type and no how to attract the people to buy your product or the rest of the things. Okay, I have heard, I mean, again, this is a kind of an analysis made by some of the psychological journals in the world. You can always cross check the information on the Google. Okay, so I heard that red color product, no, they are more attractive, and no, the percentage of the people buying the product which is having a red color is higher than the rest of the colors. Okay, so this is a kind of an psychological analysis that they have made probably by understanding the different kind of no see different kind of data, the big data and the analysis of the big data. And so that's why they have to accordingly make the advertising strategies as well. Okay, then you have the create retail coupons, okay, proportionate to spending the capacity of the customer. Okay, you must have you must have received such kind of coupons. Okay, and so according to the analysis, the geographical analysis, they used to have such kind of coupons. Then you have the tailored recommendation offers for the customers. Okay, so the right time and the right location. So like for example, Make My Trip, Nita. Then you have the Travago. Then you have number of travel portals where they give the recommendations. Okay, probably if I have search, or if you are the registered member to the IRCTC portal, the Indian Railways portal, then probably you will receive a number of advertisements, a number of emails saying about the tailored travel plans or different kind of destinations and the travel packages that they usually mail to you. Okay, so this is why, yeah, because no, your data has been connected. It's a big data analysis, and that is helping the big companies to by after fetching the data, they can analyze the data and they can accordingly make the use of that data in a proper way. So basically track new market trends and the changes in the demand as well. Okay, so like analyzing the social media. Okay, so you must have seen, okay, I mean after seeing the participants list, I can see that a number of female students is also good. And you know that no, there was a different kind of trains. Okay, so trend of sari and trend of irkali sari, or for boys we have different kind of trains in the blazer, trains in the costume at the marriage ceremonies. Okay, so like Manyavar, they have come up with the different kind of say advertisements to show that new trends in the market. And so no, people start buying that particular product when it comes, when it becomes a trendy in the society. Okay, and basically I mean, yes, the second aim of buying that product is to upload your video on the Instagram and the Facebook, etc. But still you buy the products because the trend is going on. And so how these trends go, it's because no, no, whatever that your searches are, so whatever no the new trends that been developed in the society, accordingly no, the market has been created. And this is nothing but an that this is nothing but a big data analysis that the companies do. And no, they basically take advantage of such kind of the data. Okay, then we have studied the data. Okay, then what is the data privacy then? Okay, so data privacy is having the two limbs. Okay, so according to the Center for Internet and Society at the Bangalore, India, it is said that right to be free from unauthorized interference with the personal data is the first limb, and second is right to be in control of the personal data. Okay, so two important things. The first, right to be free from an unauthorized interference with the personal data. Okay, so there shall not be any interference of any other thing into your personal data. So this is the first thing. And secondly, it is the right to be control of the person. So you must have a right to have a control of your own personal data. Okay, if someone is utilizing your data without your consent, if sending to the big companies regarding or for marketing purpose or different purposes, then in that concern you must have the control over that particular data. Without consent, no party can use your data. Okay, and so if she is using, if the party is using, she or he, that the company shall be liable for the consequences. Okay, so in 1980, OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, has given the 7 principles for protection of personal data. Because see, the personal data, it came in a later stage. Okay, so when you try to understand the right to privacy, though we have the right to privacy by birth, we say it, but we know that no, it is not actually been taken into consideration as an important right, no, important legal right, because legal protection is missing in maximum cases when it comes to right to privacy. So even we also had the right to privacy as an unnoticed right, but after the Puttu Swami's judgment, the Aadhaar case, okay, Supreme Court has now recognized right to privacy as a fundamental right. Okay, we'll discuss in a later part, but the right is important. Okay, the privacy right is important. Okay, and so what are these 7 principles that they have come up? Now they say that while collection of the data or regarding the protection of the personal data, the first is the notice. Okay, so notice shall be given for collection of the data. Then if you are giving the notice, you shall convey the purpose. Okay, use for the stated purpose. Okay, so you can see that the following purposes, for that purpose we are using the data. Consent shall be taken. What is the consent? For the disclosure, you need to have the consent of the party. Okay, so consent shall be there. Security, so you have to put that data in a security mode. So secure, no, keep data secure from any potential abuses. So it's your duty. The fifth, disclosure. So who is collecting their data? You have to disclose that yes, these and these people, they are collecting the data. And the sixth one is the access. Okay, so data is subjected to be data subjects be allowed to access or correct their data afterwards as well. Okay, and accountability, so data collectors be accountable for not following that 6 principles which are above this 7th point. Okay, so basically all these principles shall be followed if you are collecting any particular information. Okay, now see, just if you're using the mobile, just try to open any particular app, or download want to or can download any particular app, new app, and then they generally provide you a kind of a notice at your screen, where they say that, they usually say that this is the purpose. Okay, so we have the access to the following data. Or for example, if you're using the updated version of your phones, or the Android version or iOS version, you can see that nowadays you can see that when you open any particular app, so for example Zomato app. Okay, if I open the Zomato app, probably when you have updates regarding the Zomato app, there is one particular message that comes. Okay, uh, are we allowed to track your data of the other apps, or ask not to track your data? Okay, so these two options generally you have seen. Okay, so this is what you have seen. Okay, but no, we just don't give more attention to what they have asked. Okay, we just click on any one option because we just want to remove that particular square that came in between you and the delicious food which is to be there on the Zomato. Okay, and so that this happens, and so that's why the different kind of apps, they steal your information. Okay, and they can no, they can show that okay, you have given the consent regarding the disclosure of the information, and now you can I can disclose the information, and so it shall not happen. And so that's why these are the important points. Consent is the most important point, shall be there when you have the collection of the data. So in that way the data privacy can be considered or can be seen. Okay, now, there's a EU directives regarding the definition of data privacy. Okay, European Union, they have said that information privacy or data privacy or data protection is the relation between the collection and dissemination of data, technology, public perception about privacy, and legal political issues surrounding them. Okay, so almost everything that covers in this particular definition. So it covers the social factors, it covers the economic factors, it covers the political factors. Okay, or a degree of privacy, it varies from type to type. Okay, so different type of data is there, and accordingly the degree of privacy it depends. Okay, so some data we wish to have as a secret data, we don't want to disclose to anyone, and some data we can we can say that okay, this particular data you can share. So such kind of degree of privacy depends upon the variety of data. And we also have the different perceptions. Okay, pro consumers and versus anti government. Okay, so basically instead of going into details, we must know that there are certainly some kind of the perceptions is there regarding the privacy. So for example, see, I just went to one particular petrol pump. Okay, and there was a lady was fighting with that particular guy who was swapping the card of that particular lady, the credit card. Okay, and she was saying that no, you shall not no stand here near to that particular machine while I enter the pin number into the machine. Okay, and so because of that there was a huge quarrel which was going on. Okay, now the reason it is that no, this is a different perception of the individuals when it comes to the data privacy. Okay, we know that in modern world it is not much easy, as well as we cannot say it is not much too difficult to leak the data of an individual. Okay, so both the things we can see in this modern technology. Okay, so just by understanding, by seeing that particular number, may, okay, I'm saying the may, he may not get any particular things in his favor. Okay, or if he may, then we also have the other recourse regarding that particular mechanism. Okay, you must have seen that some of the ATMs recently they have no they have come across come across the knowledge that some of the ATM machines that some people have made some kind of changes or added some kind of software or hardware to the machine without the knowledge of the bank, so that the credit card or debit card information can be stolen, no, by making the duplication of those kind of the cards. Okay, so this also may happen. I mean, that's why I'm saying that it's not easy and it's not even difficult to no to take a use or to misuse that particular information. Okay, so this is regarding the data privacy. Okay, now when we compare the data privacy with the other nations, then we'll probably come to know that we have n number of important, we can say, the enactments or the legislation, legal framework, no, that usually protect the data protection. Okay, that usually protects the data. You may get a no, you may ask me the question that what is the necessity to learn or to know that what are the different nations that they're having the data. We know, we yesterday have seen that this is a cyberspace. Okay, you don't even know that who is not taking your data, leaking your data, or misusing your personal data at the other end. Okay, and so that's why we also need to understand that okay, these and these laws are still there in the rest of the world. Okay, so when it comes to Europe, we have studied that the whole European Union is governed by a specific law regarding the data protection. And so no, currently what is going on with the Facebook and Twitter and the WhatsApp versus the central government, it is nothing but it is already been no stated by the European Union that they have to follow these and these guidelines and these principles if they want to have the followers into the European Union countries. Okay, countries belonging to EU. And so this has already been there. Okay, so it is just we have made that guidelines in 2021. Okay, in the February 2021, that we'll discuss at the latter stage. And so this is how almost all the nations, they are developing on the data privacy and the data protection. So Singapore have the PDPA, Canada is also having PIP, EDA, Personal Information Protection and Electronic Document Act. France, they have a separate enactment. The UK and the France, both they have the Data Protection Act 1998. In the United States of America, we have a number of enactments depending upon what type of the data it is and how, what are the chances, in what way they can be, there can be the protection. Accordingly, they have regarding the child, they have COPPA. Regarding the accurate credit transaction, they have a FACTA. Regarding the health insurance probability and accountability, they have HIPAA. Then fair credit reporting, FCRA, and the Electronic Communication Privacy Act as well. Okay, so that's why we have a number of enactments where they focus on different kind of the areas of the privacy and how the privacy can be protected. Okay. Now let us move to the next important element, and that is the cookies. Okay. Now cookies, you must have studied. Okay. As I'm not having a much more technical background. Okay. So whatever that I know regarding the law and the technological law that I can share with you. Okay. You can try to find it out. I mean, some of you might have the computer science as a background, and so they might have more knowledge regarding such kind of things. Okay, so you must have studied or you must have come across that. Okay, so whenever you you surf on the website. Okay, so when on the mobile, if you try to open any particular web page, then probably it shows you that there are some cookies. Okay, so accept the cookies and then you can open the page. Okay, or if you're not accepting the cookies, either you are not able to open the page, or it may happen that some content of the page is not showing on that particular screen. Okay, and so cookies is nothing but it is a text file. So it is created and stored to recognize you on the website. Okay, and so that's why you have to accept that particular cookies in most of the cases. And so simple text file it is, and it is stored on your browser or your machine. Okay, so there are different type of cookies on the when you surf on the internet. So one is session cookies, so where it is valid for the one session. So after you close the session, then that cookies die. Okay, that text file dies. The persistent cookies, so it is valid more than one session. So it gets saved on your hard disk or hard drive, and after when you log in again, then probably that will have its effect more than one session. Then you have the secured cookies. So they are valid when your session is through HTTPS cookies. Okay. So you can see in the encrypted cookies, or you can see it in the bank transaction, generally that HTTPS is in blue. Okay. So we know that when it is in blue, it is safer than the other websites. Okay. So if it is red, or if it is no if it is been strike down, and if it has been read, then we shall not go ahead with that particular website. Okay. So you know these basics of basics when you surf on the internet. And so that green HTTPS is more authentic to have the banking transaction, because I know there's these secured cookies, they're secure cookies. Okay. And so they're valid, and so we have to accept those cookies, because the website is going to locate you, is going to create or recognize you as an individual on the website, and then accordingly it is going to have the further transaction of that particular, we can say, process. Then you have the third party cookies. So a different kind of ads, cookies placed by an advertisers, so they can track your browsing history, and through the ads, or these are the potential violators. For example, if you come to okay, if you open any particular say mail, even to the right side of the mail, you can see a number of advertisements that comes. Okay. And so what are these advertisements? Somehow you have in a previous in history, you might have searched on one particular element, and probably no taking or tracking that particular element, they must have shown you some of the advertisements. Okay. So these cookies been used as a third party. So these are the most potential violators, we can say, when such kind of things are there. Zombie cookies, so these are most dangerous. So they can be recreated using the cache. Okay. So what is the cache? Cache is computer system where it keeps copies of the most recently requested web pages in the memory or on the hard disk. Okay. So it used to speed up the things. Okay. So for example, see, if you have opened any particular web page, or if you have filled any particular details in the on that particular form of the web page, then if it is been saved through the cache or cache, then when you open it another time, generally because of these stored things, no, you can speed up that particular website. Okay. So no, it will take less time to appear on your desktop. Okay. Or appear on that particular web page, on that particular portal, you can easily go. So this happens if you're using the cache, but it is dangerous. Why? Because it saves the data. Okay. So no, it keeps the copies of the most recently requested web pages. And so if the web pages contain your information, probably there are higher chances of no, the violation, or no, that information that is there on your web page may not be protected because of this particular caches. Okay. So for personalization, so subsequent logins will show a personalized screen and filter the users preferences. Okay. Or tracking third party cookies within the website, one to other websites, they can track the user. So this is the use of the cookies. But again, depending, so like we have the uses, we also have the misuses as well. And so that's why no, by having such kind of the use or misuse of the cookies, we have the cookies regulation as well. Okay. So again, not all the nations, they have come up with this cookies regulation, but in June 2012, European Union DP Commission regulated the usage of cookies. Okay. So the applicability of this particular regulation is for the website operators and the mobile app companies as well. Okay. So the most important, they have prescribed the requirements regarding that particular cookies in case of the regulation. Okay. What are the requirements? So those companies, or those who are collecting the data or using the cookies, they have to inform the users clearly about the usage. Okay. What type of cookies it is, how the cookies is going to function. Okay. Then secondly, they have to obtain the consent to store the cookies on their device. Okay, and so that's why if you see when the message comes, it shows you that how this cookies is going to how it's going to process. Okay, and even it says that I accept the cookies, I reject the cookies. So this is kind of an obtaining consent from you to use the cookies. Then more stringent requirement if dealing with the personal data. Okay, so data processing should not be excessive, or if the data is collected, that DP to ensure which data could be processed anonymously. For example, number of visitors to the website. Okay, and certain technical compliances on the website operators and the browsers as well. Okay, so in all this context, this particular specialized agency, that is the EUDP Commission, this particular commission has to have the regulation over these particular things. Okay, so this is regarding the cookies. Okay, now if I ask you that whether Google is okay, so you use Google. Okay, so we easily say that any particular thing, okay, you shall Google it. Okay, so what is the reason when we say Google it? Because we know that this is a search engine and you can get a lot of information on that particular search engine when you use that particular Google. Okay, so if you want to buy any particular product, you go to the Google, you find out the different kind of website, and then you go and log in and then you order the products. Okay, so whether you are whether the Google is serving you in case of the product, or Google is selling you as a product to the companies. So again, this is a big question. Okay, so when it comes to the Google, we know that it is something where depending upon the things, the Google that works. Okay, so how does the Google work? So no, it does not search through the entire internet. Okay, instead searches through an ordered list of an internet content. Okay, so we call it as an index. So it takes less than a second. Okay, it's a fraction of a second to search through an index. Okay, so literally faster than a blink of an eye. Okay, and so this is how the Google works. Okay, similarly, we have the web crawlers. Okay, what these web crawlers do? No, it's a teeny computer program. Okay, so they find websites and they copy them and then they deliver them to the search engine. Okay, so there are some parts of the web like bank details, which the Washington, which cannot be accessed by any of the banking companies, any of the other third-party members. So some web browsers they use the computer codes to stop this from reading them. Okay, crawlers from reading them. So basically, because of this, no, it keeps creating the records, which is a key information about each page. Okay, and so this helps the search engine to store such information in a compressed form. Okay, and so accordingly, no, we have to check that how this particular web crawlers they are going to have it's no, they involve and have the high debates regarding the legal position when it comes to the web crawlers. Okay, so these web crawlers, that is the WC, it records the key information about each page. Okay, and so that's why the legal status is highly debated. Now you are not, as I said, Google's customers, but you are the product which Google sells to its customer. Okay, so Google's 97% revenue comes from the advertisements. Okay, so if you Google out top 10 most expensive keywords in the Google AdWords, the lawyer fraternity is not behind when it comes to the advertisement. Okay, so as I'm from the law background, I have searched it and I have found out that attorney was the fourth most expensive keyword which was sold on Google at the cost of $42. Okay, 42 into 60. I mean, tentatively it is 2520. Okay, but we know that considering the current prices, say it may be higher than that. Okay, so lawyer as the sixth most expensive keyword sold on the Google as well. Okay, now basically what I wanted to say, when you try to Google any particular thing there, okay, on the Google, probably the next time, so your data, that is your location, or sometimes if you're using the Gmail, then through Gmail you are searching on the Google. Okay, so just try to see that when you open the Google, on the right side, on the upper part, you can see that whether you are signed in or signed out. Okay, because see, when you're signed in, then probably that data or the search of that data is attached to your Gmail. Okay, and so they can easily get to know that who is searching what, and that's why it is going to have the creation of the big data and the analysis of the big data, which where your personal data may be at stake when it comes to the no, the Google data. Okay, and so that's why you are not the customer, you are the product that the Google is selling to the other customers. Okay, so Google probably when you do the next search, you can see the lot of recommendations at the right side of the web page. You can see. Okay, even try to search it on the Google and then try to open your Yahoo Mail or Gmail, then you will probably find out at the right side there's a huge list of the recommendations. Okay, so simple thing, I'll share my experience. Okay, when I plan to have a travel to the another part of the country, then I search for the airfares. Okay, and then I come to conclusion that okay, no, these companies, so for example Make My Trip is giving me good airfares. Okay, so I shall go ahead with that. But if I didn't book the ticket, probably no, I didn't book that ticket at that point of time. And then when I open my Yahoo Mail, then I have found that there were a lot of recommendations at my right side to the same destination which where I have searched prior, and no, the same things that they're showing, that Make My Trip is giving this and this much discount, so book it now. Yatra.com is giving this and this much discount, so book it now, and the rest of the recommendations. So see, I have just searched the airfares, and now I have got a lot of things as a recommendation. Okay, even probably to maximum extent, I must share with you that I also have got the staying recommendations. Okay, so you can stay it on this and this hotel, and this is the prices we are giving you, the minimum prices that can be possible. So this happens because here your data, how you search, when you search, what you search is not private. Okay, so it becomes a data which has been utilized by number of companies for their own benefits. Okay, now when it comes to the privacy issues with the mobile apps, okay, we know that HP report on the mobile apps, they have studied it, and they say that study was conducted on the Android and the App Store applications. They found that 93% apps contain some sort of privacy issues. Like, for example, Path is one of the app where re-engineer their design for privacy. Like you had the Angry Birds, where no, they ask for your contact information. Okay, so this is how no, there's a privacy issue with a lot of apps. 86% apps, they lack basic security defenses. Okay, if you try to read out, okay, when you try to download the app, before that you try to read out the reviews given by the customers, then probably you'll find it out that how the customers are finding this particular app. I mean, I don't know, even you can find it out at your own, that whether this kind of the reviews are I mean real reviews are being given by the app designers or app developers. Okay, so you can find it out at your own that what happens with this particular part of the privacy. Then 75% apps, they fail to properly encrypt the data. Okay, so what is the encryption? So your data is converted into a different we can say no been okay your data is converted into different format so that no one can utilize that particular data, and then again decrypted, okay, so to its original position when it is required. Okay, so such kind of encryption of the data. So you might have heard this particular word while using the updated version of WhatsApp. Okay, you can see that it is encryption from point 1 to point 2. Okay, so this is how no it means that when you message someone, okay, so my message I can see it, okay, in English language. Okay, so in a transaction it is encrypted, and when it receives to another end, then again it is decrypted. Okay, so basically that another person is going to read whatever English text I have texted him. Okay, in between no one can no can have an access to that particular information. So this is a kind of an privacy that is to be maintained in context with the data. Okay, uh, then you have the Wall Street Journal report, um, where where no, they've downloaded the rate of 2 million per month. So 45 out of top 101 apps did not provide the policy issue, the privacy policy, and 47 out of 101 apps did transport phone's unique ID or phone's location to other companies without the consent of users. Okay, so this was the report of through the Wall Street Journal. Okay, so this also can happen. So there was a privacy issue with the mobile apps. Okay, so the agent there was an agreement between the US Attorney Journal and 6 major mobile app platforms, Apple, Google, etc. They were agreed for the statement of principles, like to nurture the innovation in a privacy protection, to promote the transparency in the privacy practices, and to facilitate the compliance with the privacy laws in the mobile arena. So when we talk about that particular agreement, it facilitates the compliance with the privacy laws in a mobile arena as well. Okay, so these are the principles where conspicuously post privacy policy or more awareness in the app developers that was required, and mobile companies to provide a platform for the users to report the apps which do not provide such principles. And so app companies will implement a process for responding to reported instances by the users. Okay, so these are the principles that were there as a part of an agreement, or we can say outcome of an agreement in this concern. Okay, now let us move to the social networking and the privacy. Okay, so we know that privacy issues are with the social networking. So basically when it comes to Facebook, we know that there's a site set up by the student in Harvard Dome, goes public in 8 years, and we know the rest is history. And so May 2012, it was public, and it was having the $104 billion. Okay, so 500 million daily active users were there. And so I know it is having an ability to target the relevance based ads. Okay, you can see it that a lot of things that happening on the Facebook. Okay, so dream place for the advertisers, because you if you analyze that how much data that you're using for your Facebook, you can easily find it out when you open your no there are different kind of apps that you have in inbuilt in mobile to show that how much data that you have wasted on what social networking. Okay, or how much time of your day you have spent on the social media. Okay, so that's why you'll come to know that there's a maximum time that you spare that you spend on such kind of social networking. And so that's why it becomes a dream place for the advertisers to have the advertise on the Facebook. So it is all about the tennis status change, checking in the rest of the things, okay, number of things, okay, posting a photo, posting an event, what has happened to you, okay, number of things that you can see and you can post. And so that's why so these are the things where they attract the advertisers to advertise it through the through that particular medium. Okay. So terms of the usage Facebook. Okay, so you give us permission to use. So you can see it when you open any particular thing, or when you open your Facebook account, it is shown that no, you consent it. You consented that you have given the permission to them to use your name, profile picture, content, information in connection with commercial, sponsored, related content, such as brand you like, served or enhanced by us. Okay, so everything that you have permitted already. And so when you give the consent, then again at your end, no, it is very difficult to no, to cope up when there is a violation of your privacy right. Okay, so Thomas Reuters in 2012 report, they have stated that 87% corporates in United States use Facebook free version for marketing, and 59% corporates in US they use paid advertisements on Facebook and the other social media sites. Okay, and now the number has increased already. So basically keeping track of all the interactions used on their sites and save them for the latter use as well. Okay, so when you talk about the content of the Facebook, no, Facebook profile, no, it can automatically processed to infer potentially more intrusive details about an individual, such as a sexual orientation or political and the religious views, race, intelligence, personality. So everything that comes as a part and parcel of such kind of use of the social media. Okay, uh, even Gardner's report regarding the privacy issues and the tagging. There is a tort law which does not protect the people captured by a photograph in a public, because this is not counted as an invasion of the privacy. But if you see that if someone has uploaded any particular photo, you may get a notification saying that no, you can tag yourself in this photo, because it is found that the photo uploaded by your friend also that photo may have your face. Okay, so this is how they are going to no, they're going to have these particular tags. Okay, and the analysis of that particular data. Considering this, European Union, they have come up with the data protection directives. Okay, so what are these data protection directives that they have come up? So they're issued by the European Union regarding the personal data and collected and processed about the citizen of the European Union. And that commission in 1998, they have come up with these directions, and by setting up certain standards for processing this data within the European Union. So they have applied the three basic principles: transparency, legitimate process, legitimate purpose, and proportionality. Okay, so when you see the key highlights regarding such kind of the data protection directives by the European Union, then you will find it out that basically these EU guidelines, they provide a legal framework which will regulate the process of data, personal data, how they have to process, how the companies can process the personal data if they want. The broad applicability, because it includes or it applies to public and the private sector. Both the sectors been there within the purview of such kind of directives. Then it also sets the limit on the collection and the use of the personal data. Okay, so no, you cannot have the freedom to collect any data and use that particular data. So their limitations shall be there, and that shall be there by way of the European Union guidelines. Okay, so there's an independent national body that they have come up with, which is responsible for the protection of this data. Okay, and so that's why EU member states, they have enacted the laws to be compliant with this particular protection directives. Okay, EUPD, European Union Data Protection Directives. Now the key term of those particular directive policies is the personal data that we have studied. Okay, even it is a data controller that also you have studied. Then the data processor, okay, is one who processes the data. So basically, these guidelines have given these 8 data protection principles. Okay, the most importantly, the first, the fairly and lawfully processed. So when you want to process any particular data, then that the data shall be fairly and lawfully processed. Okay, so there shall be the legal, we can say, um, uh, no legal part shall be fulfilled or shall be satisfied to have such kind of analysis of the data. Okay, so that processed for the specific purposes. Okay, they have to disclose the thing that, you know, for what purpose they are analyzing that particular data. Okay, then adequate, relevant, and not excessive. Okay, so they can have this processing of the data for the adequate information or relevant information, and not excessively they can do that particular thing. Then the accurate and up to date. Okay, so they have to be very accurate regarding the data and the information. So not kept for longer than is necessary. Okay, so if you are collecting the data, it shall not be kept for a longer period of time. It shall be there for the limited period. Unnecessarily, you cannot have that particular data for a longer period. Then we have the processed in line with individuals' right. Okay, so that's why individual rights shall also be important, and that shall not get affected because of such kind of data protections. Okay, and the secured environment shall be there and not transferred outside the European Economic Area without adequate protection. Okay, so when you want to send it outside the European Union, then you have to take into consideration the adequate protection. Okay, so this is how we can see it as an guidelines perspective. Okay, so there are exceptions and the regulators. The most importantly, I'm not going into details of each of it, but the same exceptions which are also applicable in Indian context is the consent. Okay, so if it is consent is given, but that consent shall not be ambiguous. Okay, so like I need this, I need your data. Okay, so this is a vague statement. It shall not be there. I need the following data, and one, the contact details from your mobile, two, the addresses from your mobile. So you have specifically giving or enlisting what kind of data that you want. Okay, and so for that data only you are, you know, you're asking for the consent. Okay, so that shall be there in this consent. So I'll quickly go through the safe harbor. So it is the safe harbor is the third, is the US as a third party that fails to offer an adequate level of protection. And so that's why they come up with the directive which became effective from 1998 regarding the safe harbor. Okay, so again in the same thing has been given by such kind of safe harbor, that is the notice shall be given. Then you have the choice to opt out. Okay, so you have the option I agree, I disagree. Then you have onward transfer only to an adequate organization. Then security shall be maintained. Relevant, reliable data shall be there. So data integrity shall be there. Access shall be there, and the enforcement shall be there. Okay, and so there are different kind of benefits of this safe harbor as well. Okay, so there's a huge way ahead. January 2012, the EU Commission unveiled the draft of General Data Protection Regulation. Okay, so we also have to see that what happens post-pandemic period as well when it comes to such kind of data privacy. Okay. Coming down to the last part for the discussion regarding the data privacy is data privacy in an Indian context. Okay, so basically, in India, we have the dignity and the protection of personal rights. Okay, so when you say the current position, India is not recognized as a country with an adequate protection like European Union or European Union's protective policies. but no comprehensive legislation is also there. It's not there dealing with the privacy and the data protection. Okay, so we know that a lot of things are still pending. So data protection bill is pending in the parliament. Okay, and it's still pending. Okay, so we yet not have that converted to the enactment. Okay, so it can be derived from various laws pertaining to banking, health, IT, IP laws, criminal laws, contractual relations. Okay, we can consider it now from that angle regarding the data protection. Now, when it comes to the constitutional provision, we have right to privacy now included as a fundamental right. Okay, so it's the Puttaswamy's case that happened recently some years back, and that they have recognized right to privacy as a fundamental right. Okay, now there is something called as fundamental rights and the other human rights. So fundamental rights are those rights which are fundamental in nature, so which gives you the right where these rights are not subjected to anything. So if there is a violation of right, you can easily go in the court and say that the state has not protected this and this right. Okay, and so that's why the writ petitions you must have heard about it. Okay, so this is how the fundamental rights work. But when it comes to the human rights, probably these rights are somehow subjected to the discretion either of the court or to the government. Okay, and so now this right to privacy. So when I say that I'm having the right to privacy, it means that I'm there to have that right to privacy. It's my fundamental right, and if it is violated, then I can go to the court saying that my right to privacy is violated. Okay, it is now fundamental right. Uh, Now, when I say right to privacy, what is included in the privacy? Okay, this thing has not yet been defined, neither by any law in the country or by even the judgment given by the Supreme Court in Puttaswamy. Okay, because see, when I say privacy is some word which is a vague word. Okay, which which does not convey that what exactly includes into privacy and what it does not. So, for example, if you are in a college campus, okay, and if there is a CCTV, then it's also a privacy, and CCTV is violating your privacy rights. Okay, but we are not going to consider that CCTV as violating your right, and so that's why probably we come up with this new solution that when there are CCTVs, we probably post a board there saying that you are under CCTV surveillance. Okay, so why? Because no, it is essential to tell you that no, this is where the CCTV is there, and you and your activities can be captured. Okay, so this is the reason why the CCTV now is there, but still you have to post a board there saying that the CCTV surveillance is there. Okay, so this is how no, we are still yet not be confined with what exactly includes in the privacy. Okay, but to a broader context, we may say that the information which I do not want to share with anyone, that comes under the right to privacy. Okay, probably this is the thing. Okay, so like for example, changing the clothes in the washrooms. Okay, so if someone has made MMS doing that particular thing, so that is a violation of privacy, and so that leads to the cyber crime which we yesterday have seen in that same context. Okay, so this is also that can happen. We also have the reference to Article 19(1)(a), which gives freedom of speech and expression. Okay, Article 21, it also have the protection of life and personal liberty. So these are also some constitutional provisions regarding the data privacy and the data protection through which we can have. We have one of the case, Kharak Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh, 1973, where right to privacy is considered as a part of protection of life and personal liberty, and the court equated it personal liberty with privacy. But now, today, we yet have another case, that is the Puttaswamy's case, where now it is a fundamental right. Then there is something called as privacy in the tort law. Okay, tort law is that law where we usually do not have the legal principle, or we don't have law actually. Okay, the provisions are not there, the legal enactment or legislative part is missing. So in that particular case, there is unwritten law that can be referred by the authorities, and so the general principles of law, natural justice, good conscience, equity principles. So these principles the court can apply and can come up with the decision. Okay. So in case of the defamation or nuisance, trespass, harassment, such kind of the things, if it is happening, then we very much have the applicability of the law of torts. Okay, so we can go to the court of law and ask our rights, which may be granted to you under the law of tort. Okay, then we have the Indian Contract Act, which deals with the privacy clause or a confidentiality clause. So if you have a contract between you and another party, okay, maybe an electronic contract or maybe a contract no, which is regarding the privacy, which is regarding the data which has been collected by the another party, then we must have that particular clauses to be included in the contract. Okay, because if there is a breach of contract, then probably it is no, you are at the risk or your information will be at the risk. Similarly, we have the Credit Information Companies Regulation Act 2005, where RBI acts a regulator for the collection and the furnishing of the credit card information. So we have RBI guidelines 2005. We also have the most importantly the provisions into Information Technology Act, IT Act 2000. We have the amendments in 2008 as well. Under section 72A, we have the disclosure without the consent of and in a breach of the lawful contract is an offense. Okay, so we can see that there's a 5 lakh rupees fine as well. If a body corporate, it shall be responsible for the damages if they negligently are following the reasonable security practices, and the same will result into wrongful loss and wrongful gain of the information. Then also that no upper limit is specified for the compensation. So depending upon the quantification of the damages that occurred to you because of such kind of violation, you can ask from the court of law. And you have section 69, which is an exception. So government can intercept, monitor, or decrypt any information for the reason of a national security of state, defense reason, public order. So only for these activities, the government can have the access to the private data or to the personal data. Okay, so this is how in Indian context we have the personal data things. Okay. So you know that there are also IT rules of 2011 regarding the Ministry of Information Technology and Communication, and they have passed these rules to a body corporate who access, process the personal sensitive information. NGOs and government bodies are excluded from its application. Okay, so what is the personal sensitive data or information? A password of an individual. So yesterday someone has asked me the question regarding the password. Okay, so if your password been stolen by any particular entity, then this is a violation of your right. Okay, financial information, health condition, sexual orientation, medical records, history, biometric information, or any other information. Okay, now regarding the sexual orientation, there was one movie on, I guess, Prime or on Netflix. Okay, I don't remember. Okay, regarding a professor from the Aligarh. Okay, so I think the name of the movie is also Aligarh. Probably you can find it out on the Google. So it is a movie, and there was a violation of the privacy right of that particular professor who was having a different sexual orientation, and so that that laid the story to the suicidal death of that particular professor. Okay, so this also can happen, and so that's why we need to protect these particular information as well. Okay. Then there are some of the exceptions regarding the compliances regarding the privacy policy. No, we have a different kind of committees like Justice AP Shah committee, who was globally interoperable horizontal application across all the categories, comprehensive legislation, that is the Privacy Act that they have recommended. And so they have said that all the personal information, not just the PSI or the limited exceptions or the regulatory work shall also be come up with this particular Privacy Act. Okay, and those scope out of the industry or need the privacy protection around everything, even the anonymous data. Their level of protection could also be little different, but we still have we must have the protection of such kind of the data. Okay, so there are different kind of recommendations also been given. Okay, I'll come to the last part regarding okay, so when I coming down to the last part, and that is the recent rules that is coming up with this information technology. Basically, we call it as an intermediary guidelines and the digital media ethics code, or the rules 2021. Okay, now what are these rules? Now, basically, what happened regarding the privacy policy. So the government of India, they have said that no, when we talk about any particular social media network or social media platform, then it is the responsibility of those particular social networking sites to have the protection regarding the data. Okay, so the information technology intermediary guidelines that they come in the month of February 2021. Okay, so rules have been notified under the IT Act 2000, and the act provides for the regulation of electronic transactions and the cyber crimes. Okay, so 2021 rules, they replace the information technology guidelines of 2011. Okay, so what they have said that the government has said that there shall be due diligence by the intermediaries. Okay, so basically, intermediaries are entities that store or transmit the data on behalf of any particular person. Okay, so what happens? Intermediary, it includes internet or telecom services providers like Airtel, Idea, or we can say V, that they have come up with. So it also includes the online marketplaces. Okay, Amazon and Flipkart, etc. Social media platforms that includes Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc. And so the due diligence to be observed by such kind of people considered to be the intermediaries. Okay, so basically the first thing that they have said, that informing users about rules and regulations, privacy policy, and the terms and the conditions for the usage of the services shall be there. So even it is also been mentioned in the guideline that blocking access to unlawful information within 36 hours upon an order from the court or the government shall also be there, and retaining the information collected for the registration of the user for 180 days after cancellation or withdrawal of the registration also shall be there. So basically, these are kind of an guidelines given to everyone. So whoever is there in the online thing, social media market things, online marketing, or the telecommunication companies, they have to do this, but they have to abide by the rules given by these particular guidelines. Okay, so significant social media intermediaries is the most important part of that particular we can say guideline. It is said that a social media intermediary with registered users in India above a threshold to be notified. So it will be classified as insignificant social media intermediaries. Okay, so they have to come up with the additional due diligence to be observed. Okay, so they have to appoint a chief compliance officer so that we can have the insurance regarding the compliance with the Information Technology Act.
They also have to appoint a grievance officer residing in India, and they have to publish a monthly compliance report. Okay. Okay. So all these things shall be there when it comes to so when it comes to the compliance. Okay. And that's why you can see that when it comes to the policies regarding the social media, they have to have the compliance regarding these particular rules as soon as possible. Okay. Then they also have said the code of ethics for the digital marketing and media publishers as well. Okay, so they must have to establish the grievance redressal mechanism. Blocking of the content in the case of emergency also can be done through this particular thing. Okay, so this is regarding the data privacy and the regulation in context with the data. If it is violated, then you have such kind of rules and regulations to protect that particular data privacy. Okay, I'll conclude this particular thing, and I'll just quickly refer to the e-commerce, because whatever I have dealt with regarding the data privacy, we have almost covered all the part of the e-commerce, because all the rules and regulations are equally applicable to the e-commerce sites as well. Okay, so we know that e-commerce is when you have the commercial activity through the electronic medium. So no, it is an effective e-commerce model that we have. Okay, and so we need to change the distribution system and the work process to in this particular, say, cyber era or cyberspace. Okay, and so we must have an integrated web-based order processing within traditional system as well. Okay, but there are different threats to the e-commerce. Okay, the most importantly is the theft of intellectual property. Okay, so like music, books, inventions, the paintings and the other special items, they're protected by the patent, copyright and the trademark. Okay? So we're going to discuss it tomorrow. And so all these elements are at risk when it comes to the e-commerce. Okay, so e-commerce is basically buying and the selling of the goods and the services. Okay, so it includes both buying and selling, and it includes both goods and services. Okay, so the transmitting of the fund or data over an electronic network is primarily through the internet, is nothing but an e-commerce. Okay, so in e-commerce is a new way of conducting the business. Okay, so of 21st century, probably we can say. Okay, so it includes the business to business transaction, so we call it as a B2B. It includes business to consumer transaction, B2C, digital delivery of the products and the services, online mercantilism it also includes, and the automated telephone transaction it also includes. Okay, and so that's why it almost includes everything regarding the e-commerce. And when you have the e-commerce, that is B2C, business to consumer, customers deal directly with the organization, avoiding any intermediaries. When it is business to business, B2B, the participants are organizations. Okay, one organization to one another. And C2C, consumer to consumer, it is participants which are individual, with one serving as a buyer and another as a seller, like OLX. Okay, so consumer is buyer and also the consumer is a seller. Okay, so in that concern we have such kind of electronic commerce. We also have the different kind of basics of the contracts which shall also be followed. Okay, the consent, the acceptance, the legality, the genuinity of the product. Okay, and so all that things that shall come under the part and parcel of this particular e-commerce or electronic transactions. Okay, now we can say that there are higher chances of having the fraud when it comes to such kind of the e-transactions. Okay, so like bogus messages purportedly from the legitimate institution to pry personal information from the customers by convincing them to go as a spoof website. Okay, spoofing of the website we already have discussed. Then we have the online auction fraud also that can happen. We have the spam, like email sent to wide range of the people, and Usenet groups indiscriminately indiscriminately, that also helps, that is nothing but that will lead to have the fraud into this particular mechanism. Okay. And so that's why in all concerns, we need to be very aware about the e-commerce guidelines. Okay, so when we talk about the e-commerce guidelines, we always have to see that whatever the products that you are receiving are good in nature, or whether the liability is also been shown by on that particular e-commerce sites. Okay, for example, like Amazon, or like Flipkart, or any other such kind of systems, if you are, or apps you are following, you'll come to know that after analysis of the products that you have received, if you find that the product is not up to the mark, or is not actually from that branded respective company, or if you find that it is the damaged product, then you have been given a window to return that particular product. Okay, but after that window, again, it is not so that you don't have any particular right, because you can go to the consumer courts. Okay, consumer courts are those courts which deal with the matters related to the consumers. Okay, so if you have any doubt, particularly if anyone is charging more than what is expected, if providing bad quality of the product, or the rest of the things, that there are a number of things that are there. And so in all this concern, you can very much go to the consumer courts. Okay, so this is one of the things that is in relation with e-commerce. Apart from that, we know that when you are opening any particular business portal, then you have to be very clear about your protection of the data policies. You also have to be very clear regarding the other data that you wish to be you wish to collect from the consumers. And no, you have to assure the consumers that you will definitely protect that particular data, and you will have the proper no, you are going to follow the rules and regulations which are made for such kind of the data protection. Okay, so all that things that shall be that shall be there while having such kind of the transactions. Okay, and so basic understanding to have e-commerce and the data privacy is both. I mean, again when I said yesterday, no, why such kind of courses are made compulsory to you, because no, we want to make you aware that at both the ends you must be aware. So when you are providing any goods or services, you have to you have to be well aware of these regulations regarding the data protection, data privacy, and the other e-commerce related laws. And when you are at the other end, okay, as a consumer, then you must be aware that what are your rights, how the data can be protected, how the privacy right works, in case of the violation, what can be the remedies which are available. So all these that is now is important from the point of view of awareness, as well as from the point of view of the further development. Because see, this is the pandemic, and probably we hope that post pandemic the economy probably will boom to certain extent, because now everything was stopped due to pandemic, and now there are higher chances of having a different kind of development may occur in the society. And probably this particular society, which is post pandemic, may have some different needs, and accordingly the market will develop, and accordingly we shall ask for our protection, not only regarding the commerce or the privacy, but again overall all the human rights shall get protected under probably the new policies which will come in near future. Okay, so again, I won't bore you more regarding these particular e-commerce and the privacy related laws. Okay, so I'll stop here. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat window, or you can unmute yourself and can ask. Otherwise, we will end up this particular session. Okay. Thank you everyone for listening patiently all these 2-day sessions regarding the cybersecurity laws, which is one of the most important part of your life, specifically when we talk about the life henceforth. Okay, so probably tomorrow you'll be going to discuss about the intellectual property law, which is the last part of the security laws, which is there for your syllabus. Okay. If you have any questions, you can post it into chat box. Okay, so I hope there are no more questions I've received. So hope we have understood the topic. So if you need any particular help, we also have the Legal Aid Center at our college. If you need any particular help in context with the legal aid, and if you need any legal guidance, you can very much contact to our legal aid cell, which is at Marathwada Mitra Manda's MMCC's campus. We have the Shankarrao Chavan Law College. You can very much come to the college and can seek the assistance or guidance in case of the law. Okay, so it is a free legal aid service that we provide as a part of social responsibility under our Shankarrao Chavan Law College. Okay, so stay home, stay safe, have a great day ahead, and very best for your future endeavors. Okay, so all the very best. See you soon. Okay, thank you everyone.